Read? Here.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
If I find my way home, yeah.
Look, if these policies go through, we're not just talking setbacks. We're talking about real harm to real people. How are we supposed to move forward when they're pulling the rug out from under us? So here's the real tea. Project 25 isn't just about policies, it's about a declaration of priorities that may not be our own. And from where I'm standing, it doesn't look like we're on that list. So this is a wake-up call. It's time to get informed and get involved and make our voices heard. Now, let's shift topics to something that's been a hot-button issue for decades, but seems to mysteriously vanish every election cycle, and that's reparations for Black Americans. Now, y'all might be wondering, why are we talking about this? Well, it's about justice, it's about equity, and history. Many argue against reparations, saying that no one was alive. None of us were alive today. No one alive today was a slave. But let's break it down real quick. Reparations isn't just about the enslaved. It's about addressing the ongoing economic and social disparities that sprang up from that era. Has anyone heard of the term redlining? And yes, other groups have received reparations. Native Americans, Japanese Americans.
Whoa, back up. Because I know that we've been told that Native Americans have had reparations. But have they? Because I feel like they have literally been wiped off.
They were wiped off, so the 18 that was left got a little something. Okay, the same way they gave a little something to people in Rosewood.
Okay.
And they gave a little something, So reparations.
Should they really be included in that? Because I feel, and this is a part of why people feel like of the conspiracy. When we really think of reparations,
was we already here before the whole thing started?
Well, not that, but when we think about reparations, we think about money, compensation. We think about being able to grow from whatever was done to us, right? So you stole something from us. You didn't give it back. You stole something from us. You didn't repay us. You stole something from us. You didn't say I'm sorry and tried to make it better. Unlike the Jews, where you stole something, but you didn't steal a culture. You killed them, and then you gave them money so that they still have legacy. Jewish people are still one of the richest cultures that there is.
Another thing that Claude Anderson said, he broke down the economic bounce, which is where how often money transfers from one person to the other, okay? So where this dollar goes after it leaves my pocket. White Americans, I think it's 10 times.
Tell that part.
Oh, Latinos is like 6 to 7.
Yeah.
White, 10. Asian Arab, like 13.
Okay.
And then Jewish, 18. So that means 18 different businesses and institutions before it leaves out of their community.
Yes.
And ours is at 0.
Tell that part. So when you talk about reparations and you include those list of races or cultures, I think it's unfair. No shade of disrespect to the Jews and what happened to them through the Holocaust, but I think that they're still benefiting, where the Native Americans have been wiped off and Black folks still can't get their 40 acres and a mule. And what about our Latin brothers and sisters? What about our Asian brothers and sisters? Like, we're still on this, what everyone else has gotten and what we didn't get, but the only people I really feel like have ever benefited from any kind of I'm sorry has been white Jewish men and women.
Correct.
Sorry.
Correct. There's a lot. I mean, but they took that money
And then what about the companies that you getting ready to mention?
Right. So
like
we have
they aren't most of them Jewish owned.
Listen, I didn't get into the ownership, but I know it wasn't our we didn't own it. Okay. So I can't get into the I would have to look into it.
Okay.
As far as who owns
So what are some of these
it.
companies?
But some of the companies are I think we might have jumped over a couple of things, right?
No, we talked
Okay,
about
so we're right there.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of major companies that are now household names today.
Can we see
that
an
have
image?
historical ties, excuse me, to the slave trade. Can we go back just a little bit? Let's take New York Life,
Okay.
which was founded, which found that its predecessor sold the insurance policy to slaveholders.
And girl, you know that's my insurance company.
Oh, well, you gonna find something that you own in here, okay? Because you got Tiffany and Company, which was initially financed with the profits from cotton mill using slave-picked cotton. And it does not stop there. We have Aetna back in the 1850s, which insured lives of slaves and compensated slave owners if those slaves died. Brook Brothers, and if you look, that one in the center top, that's Brook Brothers. That's a sheep looking like it's hung, okay? It was outfitting slaves with clothes for slave traders. And the list goes on. Bank of America, USA Today, JP Morgan Chase, all benefited in some way from the brutal institution of slavery. So when folks say reparations are about the past, it's only half the story.
Right.
It is all about how that past has padded the pockets of the present, and yet our political candidates stay silent. Neither major candidate has put reparations front and center despite these clear historical debts. Why the silence? Is it too controversial, or is it a matter of convenience? Ignoring these issues denies a profound impact on a significant portion of their electorate. It's about acknowledging a wrong and making it right. Simple, period. So let's keep the conversation pushing, demanding answers and holding feet to the fire, because if not now, when? Now, it's hot in New York, okay? And it's about to get hotter with all this brewing, so let's get down and talk facts. Republicans blame Biden. Democrats blame Trump's rhetoric. The real question is, what have these candidates actually done for Black Americans? Let's start with Biden. His campaign promised a lot, from police reform to improving education and health care. But many of these promises are too slow to materialize, leaving folks questioning his commitment.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Since people have questioned his commitment, do you believe that Harris is ready for the job?
Oh, God. HU, you know.
You know. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Where has she been?
Okay, but isn't that...
Now you show your face up?
Okay, but isn't that the case with most VPs? Most VPs handle whatever policies and administration. We really don't always hear of the VPs.
Not as often, but you would hear.
I never heard
of
of what's the Mike Pence with Trump last time. Like, you really don't
right.
hear
But
of
I
the
remember,
VPs.
I remember there was time periods where we gore.
Right.
I mean, come on.
And I heard about Biden as a VP.
Right.
But I do believe that she's getting the bad end of it, because at the end of the day, when we voted for Biden, we voted for Kamala. For Kamala. So knowing that Biden was also coming up in age. So he also was able to, they say, increase or strengthen the policies that were put into place after Obama his last reign, and then once Trump came over and abolished whatever structure was put into place, how Biden was now able to restructure those things again.
Or at least attempt to.
Or his attempt to. So is that the reason behind the slow motion? Because he was still kind of fixing up what was done in this last administration?
In order for, okay, this is the thing. The fact of the matter is, you would have to do a deep dive and try to find out what her stance is on things. And as far as Black Americans go, and her affiliation with, basically being a prosecuting and putting so many of us behind bars.
That part.
I don't think we have enough time to even get to know whether or not we like her or not. Nobody asked anything. Y'all said Biden was okay. He came out in the State of the Union. He was like, go ahead, boy. But that was a teleprompter. Okay?
Right.
When he's out there winging it,
Okay, so
he was ringing it.
I know this was a special report that we were doing
Yes.
because of all the activities that was happening this week and
Yeah.
because of the assassination on on Trump.
Yes.
But we're gonna wrap up for our broadcast taping, and then for all those that wanna keep watching, they gotta now turn the channel and go to our YouTube.
Yes,
Right.
come visit us at the YouTube at the T Lounge. Okay, you can follow us on social media at the T Lounge NYC. But subscribe to the T Lounge on YouTube so you can catch the rest of this because you're gonna want to hear it. Okay?
You're gonna want to hear it.
Yes, you want to hear it.
Okay, so I know we've gotten off a topic, right?
Right.
So let's get back onto because I cut you off because I wanted to get your feedback on how you felt about Vice President Harris.
Right.
But since people have felt,
is she the worst thing? No. However, I'm just not connected, and it's not because her being a female or anything like that. I'm just not connecting with her. I would have. I feel like I know her type, and she's not my type.
and so now we have what people feel about Biden and his administration. How do
Yes.
you feel people think about Trump?
Well, we could clearly see how some people feel about Trump, but his comments to black voters, what the hell do you have to lose, which I think was cooked up by Omarosa,
Right, but remember, I think you was in it to say that he often highlights
Highlights what?
he often highlighted low unemployment rates.
Yes, low unemployment rates, but it was also about the way that he handled the racial justice protests and how that sparked outrage for him appearing dismissive or insensitive,
And his blunt rhetoric and
Exactly.
what is it? Divisive.
Yes.
Comments.
Those divisive comments, all right? And that split screen did not help.
Right.
During the, on both sides, as far as Trump and Biden went, as far as that debate was concerned.
All right now. So everybody, they need to right now at this point of the show, go to our YouTube channel so they can catch the rest of it.
Yes, please do.
All right. So as we wrap up for BronxNet, let's go back to
Now, we got Biden with his 90s crime bill and making comments like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He said that over there on Charlemagne's show. That didn't sit right with many who felt it diminished their agency. And Trump, his comments to black voters, what the hell do you have to lose, which I think Omarosa wrote that, along with his handling of racial justice protests, sparked outrage, appearing dismissive and insensitive. Both candidates have their histories, their moments of triumph, and their shortcomings. But here's the catch. When promises are made and not kept, trust erodes. And without trust, how can any leader truly lead? So the question we got to ask ourselves is, who really is looking out for us? Is it about votes, or is there a genuine care for the community? Because you sure wasn't going to find out from the debates. All Biden needed to do was channel that State of the Union energy. Instead, he stammered, stumbled, and folks wondering if he still got the juice to handle 4 more years in the Oval Office. Then the Biden camp had the audacity to blame his performance on a cold.
And it was
yes.
sad. It was sad.
Yes,
Like,
because
I watched it, and I like everyone, I like President Biden. At least the personality that I see that comes off. I like the way I see him with his wife. I like the way even I see him as a dad and supportive of that. But I just thought that was a horrible depiction of intelligence. I felt like not only did it make him question because of his age, could he handle it, but it just, he wasn't clear. He wasn't direct. He wasn't precise. He wasn't on it. And then the next day, someone said that they could have just put some makeup on him. Like, who was in his camp that didn't, check beforehand or as they were prepping him, going over questions, going over responses?
That was nothing to do with intelligence.
No, I'm not
clearly,
saying it did, but it took away a level of intelligence because he fumbled
clearly
over.
Suffering from some allegedly, he is clearly suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. That man is intelligent.
Right, so
he
that's
was
what I'm saying.
unable
So
to.
that's exactly my point. We know that he's intelligent. So that performance,
Right,
did
so
not
nobody's
show what
questioning
we
whether
know.
or not he's intelligent. Everybody's everyone is concerned about his mental health deteriorating.
Right.
And will he be able to handle another 4 years? We all know the man is intelligent. We've seen him throughout the years. We all know that it wasn't just him having a bad day. This is the onset of something. And we know that it only goes.
So don't you think, so why, if we can see that
They
as a
saw it
general
too.
public, then why even have the debate?
They should have been told. Yes, that's what everybody's saying. The next day, Joy was on The View. She was beside herself. She said, we need to find another person. We got, then she started name dropping. Hey, well, how about that boy over here? And what about that young man over there? Everybody was in a full-on panic.
What do you think about Trump?
Now, listen, Trump, listen.